Alright, welcome back. We are in SpaceCraft, and today we are going to talk about space travel. Now, these are fairly basic tips, however, the game doesn't really tell you about some of these, and so you kind of have to figure it out through trial and error, and sometimes it can be a little scary, especially if you are low on hit points, or you are low on fuel to just, I don't know, what's this going to do for me? The number one tip I can tell you is, the map is not a flat plane. It is three-dimensionals. It doesn't look like it is, but it absolutely is. So I'm right here, and I want to explore this MZ518. 515, right? So if I do the normal, like most people do, and I spin around and I look for MZ system, I do not see one. Now, it's possible it's behind this planet. I happen to know that it isn't, but it's possible. So we could zoom off to one side and see if it's there. But we can take a closer look. Now, if we hold left mouse and I drag this, to me it seems pretty obvious that this is really high above us, and this one right here is a little bit below us. So if I now drag the other way, where I'm dragging this towards that, does it not appear to you like this YV is really low in comparison to this MZ? Yes, it is difficult to tell, but to me, it's crystal clear that this MZ is much higher. So now, and this is another tip, if you hold right mouse, you don't have to move your ship up and down, which takes forever. I can just move the camera. And there it is, way above us. So if you are having issues finding the place you need to go, hold your right mouse and move the camera around in large swaths. That will help you to very easily, and you don't have to worry about your ship being turning, because let's face it, going like this is a pain in the butt having to get up to the next system. So we're going to hold this, and you notice how it's kind of sticky on it, right? So it kind of sits there. Now, I am in a special environment. In this environment, this is a level 4. This will require you to be exploration level 4 at a minimum, or exploration 3 and have this specific patch, sector exploration level -1. Whether you get the patch, whether you get the blueprint and build it, either way, all that's doing is reducing the security level of the sector by 1, so that you, at say, for example, exploration 3, would be able to enter this level 4 sector, this galaxy, Hubris Major. There is also a sector level -2, although it's doesn't really serve any purpose other than early game, because once you get to level 5, this -1 will get you to the furthest point in the game, which is Jester at this moment in time. This is a level 6. So if I were to look at this, this tells me exploration level 6. Now it says red to me because I'm only level 5, but because I have the patch, I can actually go into Jester, and I have been starting to kind of dip into there. It's a scary place. What all these little purple lines show me, if I scroll and I hover, bottom right hand side, it popped up something that said magnetic anomaly. This is why when you are over here and you peek in and you look at this, and it probably still says UF1498V to you, you see that your bars are covered with red. Like let's look at this OC one here. Isn't that the one that was right over here somewhere? OC. So if we look at this, this has a bunch of white squares and it has a bunch of yellow squares. That yellow square means it has a low chance of doing all of those squares as damage to my ship. It is still a chance. You could get hit for all of that, or you could get hit for none of it, or some portion thereof. Now, if I scroll my mouse, this is something else that doesn't tell you. If I do my mouse wheel and I scroll down, you get to the point, if I go all the way, you see how it has a red square, and then an orange square or a dark orange square. That red square is guaranteed damage. You are going to take that damage short of some other things I will explain. The dark orange, you are highly likely to take that damage. all of that yellow, if I were to jump here with 0 fuel, I would probably explode. Maybe I'll get lucky because I have some things working in my favor, but probably I'm gonna explode. The way you can handle these sectors is you can go above your fuel cost. You can spend extra fuel up to 150% to get this to be the all white or the close to all white, just like you would normally when you're jumping from system to system. It's not always full white. Sometimes there's a square and you might take a little bit of damage. Get to the station, you got to pay $8 to fix it. So that's how you can deal with that. Now, what I'm going to do, let's center back on this and let's mouse up here. This is the one I want to jump to. I'm going to leave it at 100% and we're going to see what happens because I have two little tricks up my sleeve. Number one, I have the Pathfinder cockpit. The Pathfinder cockpit, if you look at the bottom of it, says FTL crit chance minus 50%. As best I understand this, and this is with me having about 115 hours or so in the game, maybe 30 hours in the beta, and I've explored about 95 or 6% of the entire current map. That is a 50% chance to avoid all damage entirely. It just negates it outright. No matter what that says, no matter how many colors are lit, squares are lit up that aren't white, you have a chance of none of it happening. Then, on my FTL drive, I have this damage reduction minus 15%. It's called Light Dodging Tier 1. There is a Tier 2 that's 30% and a Tier 3, I would assume 45, but I haven't seen it myself. That will straight flat reduce the damage you take. If I don't get lucky and just negate the damage entirely, I will take 15% less than what it's telling me. The problem is, all of those squares are yellow, so there's still only a chance I will take that damage. Even if I didn't have the Pathfinder cockpit, I had the brick still, for example, there's a chance I won't take all of those squares as damage. Red, guaranteed damage. White, guaranteed no damage. Colors in between, a chance of severity. So we're going to jump at 100% and we're going to see what happens. Now you notice my ship is still not pointed at it. If I hold F, the game does it for me. Hold 4, excuse me. 4 is the button that mine's on. Now let's see if I get lucky. I did not get lucky. So I took 4 squares of 8. I believe it said 8 squares was the chance I could take for damage. For me, A, I have a 15% damage reduction, so I didn't take as much, and B, I got lucky and half of the yellow squares didn't hit my ship, whereas the other half did, give or take, something like that. But I also do have a little bit more hit points than normal, because I have 5 or 6 pieces of titanium now, so I have started taking over into titanium. The further thing that I still don't have proof of this yet is your ship integrity affects how much damage you take. It does affect how much fuel you use, and that's only if you are below 100% integrity. I'm at like 93.5%. The lower you get, again, this is a theory, the chance of damage increases because, I don't know, your ship's falling apart at the seams, essentially. You're missing nuts and bolts in places, and welds aren't perfect because your ship integrity's down, so you have a greater chance to take damage. The last thing to note, if I was in a normal sector, I was 1 jump from Salma, for example, and I'm out of fuel, you can still jump. You're going to take damage, it's going to hurt, but you can still jump, with a singular exception. I will state this, if you are out of fuel and you're making a sector jump, you're probably going to explode, even if you're at full hit points when you start. For some reason, the sector jump is more dangerous than the system jump, even between easy sectors. So I had a friend of mine who was in this level 2, jumping from Iruni to Solar Alpha. He had 18 fuel. So he still had a partial fuel in there, and his ship exploded. It destroyed his ship in 1 jump because he didn't have enough. So sector, you need to be careful if you're out of fuel. But if you have 0 fuel, you can easily make it 1 jump. You might even be able to make it 2 jumps. 3 is going to be a little twitchy unless, again, we go back to you have this FTL damage reduction. If you have the tier 3, you can probably make several jumps without having any fuel. If you also then have the Pathfinder cockpit, I'll have to test it, but I would assume probably 4 to 6 jumps with no fuel. It's going to hurt, and ship repair is more than fuel. So the best thing is just to reduce your fuel as you're going. I do hope these helped, and I thank you for watching. Have a good one, guys.
Strive to leave your mark under new stars.